Welcome, my beautiful friend. This is Magi, and I just want to give you like a really quick tour of this all-in-one AI workspace. It is literally one of my favorite investments I have made in AI, and I just want you to just be aware of it. It is not going to be for everybody, but I do want to make sure that you guys are aware of it. It's also something that I'm going deeper in because it is where I am creating my Flux LoRA images. And think of Magi as like this single home for AI so that you're not juggling a bunch of different logins, subscriptions, or like wondering which tool does what. Because AI, there's so many, like the amount of AI platforms that are popping up, like every time one pops up, another one is, getting washed out and going away. So Magi is extremely reliable. I have met the founder and CEO, Dustin. He's a very, very amazing home family guy, down to earth, really created this because he was trying to find a solution for small business owners to not literally go bankrupt trying to keep up with all the AI models. And this is your best way to really get an idea of what each model does as they come out without having to spend a lot of money getting subscriptions for each of them, testing it out. And then if you really, really, really like it, maybe investing in it, just like I have in ChatGPT Pro. So when you log into Magi, this is essentially your home base. This is what you'll see as your dashboard. And you really do see you have two main actions that it will always guide you to in the center, which is either starting a new chat or creating an image. And then you have, your sidebar that has all your other different sections. And then you have your recent chats. And then most importantly, under the announcements is the AI Academy, which has hundreds of tutorials and video libraries of their recordings from their trainings. It's absolutely free for you as a Magi subscriber. I don't think there is a free option, but understand that it is they don't have a lot of money. This was founded by one guy who's really just trying to help small business owners. So it is really worth the investment based on what you get. So you guys don't even know yet. They have an amazing Facebook group if you're on Facebook. He's in there all the time. They're also giving like a lot of prompts and tutorials, and it's really supportive. So I definitely recommend that. And then this is basically where everything kind of lives. But I love the AI Academy. If you're one of those who likes to binge watch on like YouTube tutorials, it is always growing. It's recorded trainings. And I just love it. Now, the chats essentially work just like they do in most language platforms, specifically what you're used to in ChatGPT. It is where you can write content, you can ask questions, you can build your emails, your blogs, your guides, brainstorm ideas. You're essentially talking to specific chat models. And the magical part about chats is that when you create a new one, this is my favorite part about Magi, is that here up in the corner, you see that you can click and choose which language model you want to have a conversation with. Now, the magical part about Magi is that once you start a conversation with one AI model, you can change into ask the same question to a different one and then compare them. You can write a blog with one language model that you prefer, then write an email with another one, then create an image with another one, and then take that image and create it into a video with another one, all within the same chat. Now, you literally have access to almost every single really like well-known language model. Claude, DeepSeek, Gemini, ChatGPT, all of the versions, Grok, Llama, Mistral, Nova Light, and Perplexity. You also have access to all of these image and video models, which is game changing, especially when you're new. You get the Flux GPT imaging, which is what we've been using. Ideogram, Imagen, Kling is a very popular one to take an image to video or have it create a video based on your text. Leonardo AI, Leonardo Motion, LoRA, which you see a star because I use that a lot. Nano Banana is the new Gemini one. Runway, Seed Dance, Sora 2, this is a really good one. And then, of course, Vio. Everything works on points. It'll tell you here based on which version you use, how many tokens it will take up to create one, and then you kind of go from there. But it is where all your images and your videos and your language models live. Once you pick one, then we go into what's called persona, which is here. You see right now defaults to an assistant. But I've created a persona. Persona I think of as like a custom GPT. It is a personality or a job that you basically can give a the AI, and it is defined as who the AI is speaking as. So you can customize it to your brand voice. You can customize it to a specific coaching tone that you want to be talked to. You can have it give it like a job. It could be your copywriter. It could be, in this case, I've created a persona that is already expert in each of my businesses. I also have it as a buying persona so that I can talk to it and it can ask questions or respond to me as if they are one of my dream clients. You can also have it like they've created some for you to give you an idea, a YouTube expert, a gift concierge, a prompt generator, a business advisor, and they'll tell you who it is created by. Now, I can vouch for Magi, but any of the other ones that you might see on the market, a stand-up comedian, an image prompt engineer, educational context generator. Like there's so many in here, real estate agent, a personal trainer, a career counsel. Like it's crazy. A rapper, a poet, a relationship coach. Like it's limitless and it's literally just like what we find in ChatGPT, which we consider, they call them custom GPTs. It is huge for consistency and it saves you a lot of time so that you don't have to explain the style of how you want it to respond to you or the person you want it to emulate. Emulate, is that the word? Eminent? Whatever. To be, essentially. Okay. Once you pick those two, then you start talking to it, and then these buttons are pretty much the same thing. Now, this enhance button is game changing if you are new to prompt engineering, which brings us to prompts. I'll come back to media. Prompts is where you can go to actually save instructions that you use all the time. And you can create new prompts. You can organize them in folders. If there's a prompt that you really like that you find yourself using weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly, whatever, you can save them so you don't have to remember them. I have mine in Excel spreadsheets, but this is really good if you really end up using Magi for pretty much everything. And you basically start creating your own prompt library. It's really, really amazing. Now, media is basically what it sounds like. It is basically where all your images and videos live once they've been generated so that you don't lose track. As you can see, a lot of these I've created during our 12-day challenge. Now, language models are still learning. It is not going to always be perfect, but damn if this one isn't. And there's certain things that I learned about mine that I have to like put in for it to give me what I want. But that is very close to me. And there's one small detail where it is the differentiator between my AI twin and me. But most people who have never really met me in person would never know the difference. And it is not about tricking people. It is just about helping you stay more present and on brand without spending a lot of money, without worrying about the perfect like reel, without, wasting time on small things like this. We let AI kind of help us. I love this because look at that. I love the imperfectionness that it gives me. But notice that everybody in the audience starts to look like me. So Flux LoRa's are good for some things, but any of your images from any of the things that you use, it can be here. And then you have workspaces, which just help you separate things. So may have like a workspace for your business. You may have a workspace for personal projects, one for content, one for experiments. Maybe you own a business where you're creating content or doing stuff with different language models for clients. You would have a different workspace for different clients. Know that your workspaces, in terms of how many you can have, is limited based off of the plan that you have. And then team is if you ever work with like assistants or other collaborators, that is where you would basically manage shared access. If that's not where you are, you're a solopreneur, then don't worry about that. And then you can come here, you can work on your billing subscription and look at the plans. I'm on, I think, the $40 a month plan. They only have two. One's 20 and the other one's 40 unless you want to go to a corporate. Okay, so that's pretty much the main gifs of how this works. And what we're going to do is we're going to come here to generate an image, and I'm going to walk you through how to create a Flux LoRa. Okay, so the feature that I use the most in Magai is essentially Flux LoRA. It allows me to train essentially a custom image model of me. I call it my AI twin. It helps me keep my visuals consistent. It helps me stay on brand without really constant photo shoots or having to do that. And it, again, is not about replacing me. It is about supporting my presence. That's how I'm looking at it. And it really helps me show up in video so that people get to know the real me as opposed to worrying about, having different types of like B-roll and all this kind of crazy stuff and matching the right vibe to what I'm trying to say or staying consistent in brand with the three businesses that I have. And it all lives inside of Magi and it's beautiful. Now, there is a little bit of some, technical parts that you do have to go through. With regards to creating it. Some people, it works right away. Some people have difficulty with getting the LoRa trained. So I'm going to walk you through it. Now, we basically got here by going into images. And this is what you see when you click on image. You will come here and make sure that you have selected LoRa with this red icon, and it's going to say text to image. You see here I have LoRa and Anacani. This is the actual models meaning like your AI twin, and mine normally is a Anacani 2.0. I created one, but I didn't like the outputs. So I ended up retraining a new one with a different set of images, and I prefer that one. So it's Anacani 2.0. Now, I tried to create one for a client that I took iPhone branding photos of, but two things happened. One, I used the same images from the photo shoot, which happened to be last minute. And as you can see, she was wearing the same outfit in the entire thing. What happened is that the image continued to pull this outfit in a lot of the images, and it wasn't giving me versatility. The other thing is that I created it using Canva because a lot of these, as you can see, are HEIC, meaning they were taken with my iPhone, and for whatever reason, the stupid iPhone saves your images when you take them from your iPhone to this HEIC version instead of a PNG or JPEG. It is not recognizable in Magi, so you would have to convert these to JPEG. So what I did is I created a folder here and I picked 10 that had different varieties of her facial features and lighting, but made sure that they all showed her face really well. That's really, really important. And then essentially what I did once I had the folder of the ones that I wanted the language model to be trained on, I downloaded it. Okay. And what it will do is that it will put them all into a PNG. And most importantly, it will put them into a zip folder. So we're going to train a new model. Know that it takes 11,000 tokens when you do this. So we're going to put this as Latoya. Uh, Latoya 2.0. And that is exactly the one that I'm going to use for this so that I know. Now I want it to be in portrait because portrait is going to be what you want to use when you are creating an image specifically for you. And if you're like, I don't know, they have these eye icons. Select this option to optimize for realistic portrait generation with bright highlights and highly detailed results. Now, when you do that, it automatically changes this. Now, multi-resolution training. Use if you have many different sizes of images you're training on. It does take a little bit longer to train. And then subject crop is, when enabled, the subject will be masked out and cropped from the background to minimize background interference in training. And you can decide if you want that or not. I usually do. And then we want this to be about 2,000 steps. This creates a balance between accuracy so that it looks like you, but flexibility so that you can place yourself in different scenes. The higher the steps that you put, the more rigid the results can become, the lower, the more abstract results that you get. So you can decide on which one you want to use. Now, the more important thing is you have to have your images in a zip drive. They have to be in the format. You need at least 10 for the best results when training LoRa. Please avoid using HEIC. I just told you about that. Use PNG, JPEGs instead, as they are more compatible. So we're going to go here. I have it here. I'm going to do that so that I don't. And you need to wait until it finishes uploading, and it will turn green when that has completed. It will take time depending on how large your files are. And once it turns green, you will have Create LoRa. Remember, it takes 11,000 words to create. So once you do, you'll create the LoRa and then you will wait. And then when you come back, I would just go about your business and then you can come back, try to create an image, and you'll see that it's created here. So for this, I can create anything, and I want to make sure I'm on my 2.0. You can create a square image, a 1-to-1, which is usually for like Instagram, or a 3-to-4. A 9-by-16 is more if you want something for a story or a reel. Landscape would be 4:3, so it's a little bit like more like a real photo. And then landscape 16:9, that's more like a YouTube thumbnail. For this, I'm just going to do the 1-to-1. You can do more advanced and play with the inference. I leave it alone because it's pretty good. And let's just say that I want, let's see, so I'm going to use my trigger word. I'm going to copy it there and paste it in there. Anacani, a 44-year-old woman, horseback riding in the Caribbeans, wearing white linen, and the horse is walking, smiling, and her hair is down. Okay. It's not like the best one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click enhance the prompt once I give it an idea of what I'm looking for. And it's going to say 44-year-old woman named Anacani, horseback riding A chestnut horse walking through shallow turquoise Caribbean waters near a white sandy beach. Bright sunny day, clear blue skies. Look how better it even gave it. Shoot with a Nikon D850, 85 millimeter lens, shallow depth of field, crisp focus on a woman and horse. Generate, and look how fast this accomplishes what I needed. Boom. And it's like, oh, I don't really like that. I can always regenerate. Sometimes when it's worded this way, it affects it. So sometimes I'll take out what's in front of it and then have it be Anacani, horseback riding, a chestnut horse. And sometimes that will also play a huge difference. And see how fast these are generating? Like, oh my gosh. Now, important things to think about when you're uploading and creating your LoRa's is that after you wait, just know that it can take up to 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the options that you chose. A LoRa cannot be edited later. You cannot change out the images. You would have to recreate one and spend another 11,000 tokens. Unfortunately, you would basically need to train a new one. This is normal. It's not a mistake. Sometimes you do have to play with it, but you can do something like standing on a yoga mat in a garden. So we can do this one. So your trigger name, and you can just have it generate based off of what it's given you, or you can see if there's any difference in you giving it the new prompt and then having it enhance it for you. Like that's pretty good. And look how much different this is. And you can change, like if you don't like what it chose for you to like the outfit you're going to be wearing. It had me wearing dark leggings. Very, very different. And this is where I would put Anacani, 44-year-old woman. And notice the difference that it puts on my face. Like it doesn't make me look like I'm in my teens. Okay. And then you can decide when you find the one that you really like. I'll do it one more time. Now notice that every time I do this, it's taking up tokens. So just be mindful that you're not like doing it. Like that's okay. I look a little weird, but let's just say I'm going to use this one. We're going to do aura. I'm going to upscale it. And now I can use this wherever on a web page, in a blog, on my YouTube. And then when I make it and enlarge it, it is not pixelated. If you do not upscale it, it is going to look kind of blurry when you use it on certain things, specifically YouTube, like 16:9s. When you really try to make it big, it will start to pixelate. So make sure that you stay specific. Make sure you describe what you want, how you want it, what type of imagery you want it in, just like the prompts. You can now absolutely use your vision prompts to now choose Flux LoRa if you are successful. They have a help support if you run into problems with creating your LoRa, but it's pretty straightforward. And I've given you guys a really helpful guide to help you that will come with a one-page checklist so that you can create your own Flux LoRa if it's something that you want to do. And just know that it is limitless what you can create. Like I'll go back to the very beginning of when I really started to use this. It's not always perfect. Like that is not me. Maybe that will be me when I'm in my like 60s or 70s. Again, some of these I had to play with. That looks very much like me. This looks very much like me. This, and I'm like, this is perfect. Like this, like that is definitely looks like me in the morning with bags under my eyes and wrinkles. So I love how like it keeps my wrinkles and my naturalness. That is very me when I'm in like my boss mode. I was creating like celebratory. I don't have time to be going to no professional photo shoot and having confetti shot while I'm waiting for the perfect smile. Now it does things like this, and I'm like, whoa, what am I doing in a party shot with a plate and a bikini? No. So just be patient with it like you would, very close, but not me. This is me. This is like glam me, and so I did have to try a few times like there's one where it put me this one in a tattoo. No. This one too much cleavage. No. This one it made me an actual like cyborg. This one I just don't like seeing myself in short hair, but I'm like, yeah, I can totally see myself. And it just helps me create, like even this, I totally use this because, I'm not the same weight every single time. And this, yes, I created this literally from a still image. So I hope this was helpful. Continue to be you, continue to be beautiful, continue leading from your heart, and I will catch you in another training or video.